up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. If you would go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, do all those YouTube things, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out new content. All of that would be greatly appreciated. We also do have our Facebook page, so just go to Facebook and search Inside the Vinyl. Give us a follow there, and at some point I hope to be a little more interactive with everyone on there once we, build up the following. So, want to get right to it today. Today is November 21st, 2025, and it is the release date for the brand new Def Leppard live album, Diamond Star Heroes, I think it's called. I've got my Amazon box right here. I've got my trusty no caliber, tiny little knife right here. So let's go ahead and bust this open and see what we got. And this will be, I don't know how many Def Leppard unboxings I've done over the years, but I know this will at least be the second one this year, as we did Greatest Hits a couple months ago, maybe a few months ago. So let's go ahead and see. Get into this box. All right. And I'm very happy. Like Amazon, this is the quickest delivery I've had in a long time. Normally one of two things will happen. Either it gets delivered way late in the day, or I'll find out at the very last minute that it's not coming till the next day, or in some cases not coming at all. So I'm very stoked that this one is already here. I shouldn't need the knife for the rest of this. So let's go ahead and rip this sucker open. See what we got. I'm very excited about this because I actually got to see this tour a couple times on the stadium tour with Motley Crue back in 2022. So this is kind of a nice live record of that tour. So I'm pretty excited. So there we go. Front cover, Def Leppard, Diamond Star Heroes, live from Sheffield, England, which is where they're from. So again, there is the front cover with cellophane. Excuse me. I didn't even eat this time. I don't know why I'm burping. There is the back cover with the track list and another picture of the band. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what we got. All right, and from what I understand, there's a CD version of this, obviously, and then, of course, there is, I think, the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever it is. And I would imagine at some point this would be available, for some sort of digital streaming or, on Tubi or one of the online outlets that shows a lot of live footage, Amazon, whatever. So I imagine there's a lot of ways to consume this. But I wanted the vinyl because I like Def Leppard, and let's be fair, Def Leppard, I have a channel that, gets so amount of views. Def Leppard is always a surefire way to generate some views on the channel. So, it is what it is. So I never mind. And they're one of my favorite bands, so I never mind doing any sort of unboxing or videos on them, which is why I've done so many. But again, here we go, without the cellophane, and there was no hype sticker or anything to speak of. So again, front cover with no cellophane, back cover with no cellophane. All right. And then if we open it up, it is the behind Joe Elliott looking out into the crowd at Sheffield, which I think was at, like a soccer stadium or something there. So yeah, very cool. And if I'm not mistaken, this is some kind of, I could be wrong, but I think this is some kind of red, splatter vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. But here we go. First inner sleeve. There's Rick Savage on one side, our bass guitar player. And on the other side, our two guitar players, Phil Collin, who my wife has a total crush on because he's got abs, and, of course, Vivian Campbell. So let's go ahead and see what kind of record we have here. What kind of vinyl do we have? Ooh, red and black splatter vinyl. Very neat, very neat. Okay, here we go. Here's side one. All right, doesn't really matter. But, yeah, in the middle there, Def Leppard sticker in the middle with Diamond Star Halos in the track listing. Same on the other side. But that's a really cool-looking record. Yeah, see, I like it when they do splatter vinyl right. I bought a record a while back. I think it was a Bon Jovi, one of their, not Crossroads, but the other greatest hits or whatever. And it said it was on some brown splatter vinyl. And then I opened it up and I was very disappointed because it didn't splatter. It's they just smushed the little the little cubes of whatever color or whatever that were supposed to be in there. It's somebody kind of half-assed it when they pressed it. Anyway, moving on to record 2. Here we go. The Thunder God. Our one-arm, everybody's favorite one-arm drummer, Rick Allen, on one side, and Joe Elliott on the other side. And again, there's some liner notes and some different things on this side, and of course, track listing on Rick's side. And again, the record should be pretty much the same, and it is. Again, there's some more splatter vinyl. And the sticker on the back of this one, and maybe I didn't look close enough at the other one, that looks a little bit different than anything that was on the back side of the other record. Again, I may be completely wrong there. So yeah, really cool. And let me double check in here to make sure there's not anything else. Maybe there was just a surprise, Blu-ray or something in here. And that has happened before. not so much a surprise, but like when Alice Cooper's Theater of Death live album came out on record, vinyl, which I think it was last year sometime. It did actually come with a copy of the DVD, which was awesome because I lost all that stuff in a house fire a couple years ago. So that was cool to see. But no DVD or Blu-ray or anything here. But that's totally fine. You know, again, those are available if you want them. But yeah, so there's everything that comes in the new Def Leppard live Diamond Star Heroes record. So let's talk about this for a second. Let me keep it over here. So like I said, I got to see this tour a couple times in 2022 on the stadium tour that they did with Motley Crue, Poison, and Joan Jett. So the set list pretty much follows that. Let's see, they start with Take What You Want, which was the first track from Diamond Star Halos, the album that they toured behind with this. Really cool song, every bit as classic Def Leppard as everybody always wishes for when they put out a new record. You know, everybody's like, oh, sound like Pyromania or sound like this. It's like, that's probably the closest they've come to sounding like that, you know, on a record in a long time. Then it goes into some hits like Let's Get Rock, Animal, Foolin', Armageddon It. Another track off Diamond Star Halos, Kick, Love Bites. One song that's on here that I'm pretty surprised about that, you know, I didn't know they ever put this back in their set list, but it's Promises, which is from the Euphoria record. Pretty big radio hit from that, but not something you see in their set list a whole lot. So cool. Then you have This Guitar, which is off of Diamond Star Halos. You've got When Love and Hate Collide, which is another one I don't hear them play live a whole lot. Rocket, Bringing on the Heartbreak, Switch 625, which features Rick Allen prominently towards the end. And then the last record, the last side, closes out with Hysteria, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Rock of Ages, and of course Photograph. So you get a bit of everything. I'm glad to see that they actually included, you know, a few songs from Diamond Star Halos, as well as something even from like Euphoria and, you know, a couple other, I wouldn't call them deep tracks, but not tracks that you would normally hear. Plus, on top of that, you get most of the major hits. So you really can't go wrong with this. I mean, they've put out several live albums over the last like 10, 15 years. So if this doesn't have what you want, then I'm sure there's another one that you can get from some of like the Vegas residencies, and I think there's there will be a Next Time one from like 10 years ago or whatever. So, you know, you can find whatever you need, but I'm pretty stoked to have this one because again, I saw this tour, and even though there's a couple of songs on here that maybe they didn't get played when they toured America, I'm still pretty stoked to have this and have a document of the Diamond Star Halos tour with Diamond Star Heroes here. So again, you can get this on vinyl, you can get the CD, they have it on, you know, digital on all the streaming services, and then of course there is actually the Blu-ray version, which actually is just video of the concert if you want to go that route. So that's all I've got for you this time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out new content. I've got all my other stuff that I won't bore you with, but you know, I've got my live album series, greatest hits series, lost classic series. I've got the rest of my unboxing series, and then I've got some live footage from random concerts and festivals over the last several years. I've got a few random disc golf things on there, and I've even got a couple of documentary style films that I did for school a couple years ago. So I am a marketing nightmare, but it would be awesome if you decide to check all that stuff out. Again, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.